Welcome to the CDO Magazine series honoring Global Power Women in Data, Class of 2020. I'm Anthony Dayton, Chief Product Officer at Tamer, and I'm your guest host for today. Tamer is partnering with CDO Magazine, MIT, CDO IQ, and the International Society of Chief Data Officers in a series of interviews with data leaders. Today, I'm here with Jody Morton, Chief Data Officer at KPMG US. Welcome, Jody, and congratulations.
Thank you, Anthony. Happy to be here.
So why don't we start with you sharing a little bit about your background. Tell us a little bit about your career, what brought you to the world of the Chief Data Officer and KPMG.
Awesome, thank you. So the first 20 years of my career were all in finance and accounting. I'm a CPA by background and training. I started at one of the big four accounting firms. And I spent the most recent 15 years of my career at Freddie Mac in a variety of roles in finance and accounting, all of which involve data. Sarbanes-Oxley compliance, I was the CFO of one of Freddie Mac's business during the credit crisis, where data that had never mattered before became unbelievably important during a credit crisis. And so from finance, we were spending time swimming upstream, trying to understand the data, find the data, solve problems around the data. And I became acutely aware of, the inefficiencies with how the data moved through the company, as well as the questions I couldn't answer for the business in a business relevant time frame. I could always get an answer for the head of our business. Just could I get it to him when he needed it? When the company was, going through a credit crisis. And so we came up with a plan that said we really need to have a chief data officer for the business. We need to think about the data strategically. We need to build the right platforms, et cetera, et cetera. And after a period of time, he asked me to go ahead and stand up a data team. And so I started the first business-led data organization at Freddie Mac. I was employee one, and when I left 5 years later, there were about 150 of us. And when I left Freddie Mac, I joined KPMG to be their U.S. Chief Data Officer with a very similar mandate to basically, stand up our data governance program, all of our foundational data capabilities with a focus, on people, process, culture, change management, in addition, to the data and the technology you need to transform the way business uses data.
Yeah, so I love this idea of not just the ability to actually get the data, but doing it in a timely way. And the credit crisis must have been like the perfect manifestation of that challenge, right? I mean, if there were ever a moment where the speed of decision making was at the core of the data challenge, maybe, I mean, if you can share some of the sort of stress of that moment and how that played out for you.
I mean, not that dissimilar from a lot of other companies. You have tons of data, but can you get to it fast enough? Do you understand it? Do you know where to find it? And once you can find it, do you actually have the right platforms to actually, basically process it at scale at a speed that makes sense? And for example, at Freddie Mac, we had a portfolio of 12 million single family mortgages. That's a lot of data. It's a much bigger problem than Excel or Access, for example. So, it was building, making sure we had these platforms that could actually, run the compute at scale so you could get that timely insight. And during the credit crisis, we didn't always have what we needed. Once we found it, could we actually then do the right analytics on the data? So yes, there were some days where, you never knew what you were walking into and what the questions were going to be asked. That made it exciting and interesting. And a great learning opportunity, but it really did inform me about, what were all the possibilities of data and what could good look like.